Hey everyone, this is Bhumika. Today I'm going to create a text input field, and in that we will be looking at how we can take the help of variables and conditionals to create a functional text input field. So without doing any further ado, let's get started. So in this text input field, firstly we will be working on the user interface and then we will start working on the functionality. So for our user interface, firstly we want a text. So I'm randomly going to type something. So let's say placeholder. Okay, so now to keep it in a single frame, I'm going to create an auto layout. So just press Shift A on your keyboard to create an auto layout and it will going to create a frame for you. So now we will be doing some adjustments, alignments and also going to work on the styles and color. So as I've created frame, I want to add a fill color and let's change our colors for the text. So as a first frame should be a default state, so I'm going to keep it lighter form. So I think this color is fine. So now I'm going to work on the corner radius. Let's keep it up to 6. I think 6 is fine, and I want everything to be aligned to left. And now let's work on our padding. So I think it should be up to 16. So I'm going to keep the horizontal and vertical padding up to 16 and also add a stroke color. So I'm going to keep it uh, in gray color. So just increase its size a little bit. So now our default state is ready, and as you know that when we used to fill a form in apps and websites, here we have two states. One is the default and another one is the active state. So here I'm going to create the two states. So before creating the active state, firstly I'm going to work on the variables part. So on the right side of the panel you can see local variables. Just click on that. So now I'm going to create a variable and in that I'm going to select string. So why I'm creating the string is that when we are in the default state, we want some value that needs to be entered so that we can move to the active state. So for that, I need some value that can be stored. So I'm going to name it as text input. So now we are done with our variables and we have also stored the value in it. So just close the section and here I'm going to select my text, and on the right side of the panel you can see apply variables. Just click on that and I'm going to select the value that I've stored. So now on the upper part you can see create component. So I'm just going to create a component uh, and add a variant, new variant. So I want my second frame to be in active state, so I want to change the color of the text. So I'm going to keep it as black, and let's also change the color of the stroke. So I'm going to keep it in blue color. So yeah, that is fine. uh, so now we will be working on the prototype. Firstly, let's create a prototype. So I'm going to keep it as smart animate. Okay. So to check our text input field, I'm going to create a frame. Okay, so now go to assets and drag it on your frame. So just select your frame and press shift space on your keyboard. We can open our prototype section in the frame itself. So our frame is working fine. We can go from our default to active state. So now we will be working on the functionalities so that we can input some text. So now what I'm going to do that I'm going to select a second frame that is active state. So firstly, let's just name our states. So you can, on the right side of panel, you have a properties of current variant. So for our first frame, I'm going to name it as property as state, and as our first state is default state. So for the second frame, I'm going to name it as active. So yeah, we are done with our naming of variant. So let's start working on the functionality. So I'm going to select a second frame and go to prototype, connect it with your first frame, and here I'm going to select key gamepad. So now here we have to set some logics, that is that I'm going to use conditionals for creating the logic, because for every alphabet we have to use a logic, so that once the user input any alphabet, they can able to do that easily. So firstly, here I'm going to click on the plus sign so that I can add an interaction. So when once you select this icon, it will going to ask you to create a team, because as it is a paid version, so for that you have to either log in as professional or as a student. So once you have login with your professional or student account, you have to choose a team. So I'm just going to choose a team, and now I can use this functionality. So I'm again going to click on the plus sign, and here I'm going to choose conditional. So just choose conditional, and as you can see that you have an option of if and else. So firstly, I'm going to add in logic for the if. So select text input, and here we want our text input should be equal to type here. So now here select set variable and just choose text input as A. So for every alphabet, we need to set a logic by using the conditional. I know that it seems a long process, but we only need to do this once, and then you can easily use this functionality. So now I'm going to work on the else part. So here I'm going to set a variable and just select text input. So text input, then it needs to be addition, then a letter A. So yeah, now we are done with our variables part, and we have also set a logic for the condition, that is if and else. So now I'm just going to close this section, and for every alphabet I'm going to use the same logic. So again just going to create, so again I'm going to do the same thing, just going to change the alphabet. So just set conditional and use if and else statement. So here I'm going to select text input and we want it equal to type here. So yeah, we are now done with our prototype part and we have added the conditionals in our active state. So now I'm going to create a frame and going to check that how my prototype is working. And one thing more that, okay, so before working on the prototype, I think firstly I'm going to create an interface. So here I'm going to, so firstly go to frame and here I'm going to select one of the phone frames. So just select that, and on the assets panel I'm going to put my frame. So now just add a submit button over here. Let's firstly create a grid. So I'm going to create a grid system and just going to keep the columns as 6 and let's say 16 as margin. So that is okay. Now I'm going to create a button for submitting my text input field. So basically here what I want that it should show the text that I'm going to type on my text input field. So just increase its size as 32, and I'm going to copy this. So here we want our name. So before seeing a final prototype, I would also want you to pay attention on the icon that I've added in my active state. So here I have added a cross icon because we also want that user can delete the text if they want. So to set a logic for that particular or deleting of a text, I have added the interaction. So you can go on the prototype and just click on the interaction. So for this button, I have already added the interaction. So you can just select on click, and then over the plus icon, you can set a variable. And what we want that once the user deleted something, there should be no alphabet. So I have created a text input for the set variables, and then I've just used a semicolon, and there is no alphabet between the semicolon, so it is empty. So this is basic the logic for deleting a text. So I'm just going to close this section, and these are our final screens. So now let's play a prototype and see how it is working. So you can see that currently we are on our default state. Once I click on it, it take me to the active state, and from here I can type any text. So I'm going to type my name and just submit that. So you can see that how smoothly it has worked, and on the welcoming screen you can see the text that you have input in the text input field. So I hope you find this video helpful and you get to know that how you can use the conditionals and variables and create a functional user interface. So if you like this video, do let me know in the comment section. I will be creating more such UX design related content. So do subscribe to my YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon so that you don't miss any updates regarding my new videos. So till then, stay tuned and I will see you in my next video.